Yeah, I think this year is really, I call it the most consequential year in our history. And when I say our history, I mean both AWE and the XR industry, because everything is changing. You have on one hand some sectors that are shrinking, we know that, but also others that are growing, and everything is changing. So we need to kind of try to figure out where to go, what to do. But one thing is clear is that AI smart glasses have exploded. Smart glasses are everywhere. And they're promising to be probably the best or the most spatial interface for AI in the real world. And here's some of the glasses in the market. They're almost indistinguishable from regular glasses. And this is just a fraction of the hundreds of companies building glasses, smart glasses today. By the way, tomorrow is June 16, so that could be a really big day. Artillery Intelligence, AWE's home analyst, is predicting that the market will continue to grow towards $61 billion by 2030. And what's really interesting is that, that little sliver in 2025 and 26 on the top, which is glasses revenue, is going to become the leading category. And probably it's not a surprise for many of you. We are seeing this kind of trend, but it's happening right now. And this is probably the best time for builders to jump in. But yeah, XR is hard. There's some folks here that have been at it for decades, and some that are working really hard for many, many years and still struggling to grow their businesses. But they're still at it. They're still doing it because there's something that is driving people in this industry that is stronger than anything else. Because I think XR is the most exciting thing in our lifetime. So today, I'd like to talk about how to make it in spatial computing. And it's not about how to become a billionaire. It's about how to make a good living doing what you love. So here it is, your 10 tips to succeed in XR that AI won't tell you about. Ready? Woo. All right, number one. Think spatial. You guys are already here, so you are already thinking spatial. But to make it in spatial computing, you have to always remind yourself why you're doing this. And it's simply because spatial computing is native to our species. For a million years, that's how humans have evolved, by interacting with space, with the world around us. And this is kind of the main driver. So, it started, as we all know, from 1968, over 50 years ago, where the mother of all demos introduced 2D computing. And at the same week, the ultimate display demo by Ivan Sutherland was introduced, which was the invention of both AR and VR. But for some reason, history decided to go with 2D computing. And no doubt it's changed the world. But it wasn't natural. It wasn't designed for how our brains are wired. When you ask Tom Furness, which was actually right there at that time, why the world chose this, and it's simply because the tech wasn't there. And I think now that we're looking so many years later, we're in a very different place. So think spatial means that when you build an AR/XR experience, it must be better than the alternative. And it's still not an easy thing to do. You have to convert people that have been using 2D computing for so many years. So how does it really make it a lot better? And we'll hear a lot more from it from Avi this afternoon. But then the question is, really, is the tech really here? Is it ready? And I think, many leaders in this space, the pioneers that started this industry, have been promoting XR as the future, Me included, since I started with a blog in 2007 and an AR startup and the XR conference that we're here, an XR fund, and over 2 decades of mentoring and working with startups, the message was always, it's the future. But today, I'm standing here, and actually for the last year, I've been saying it on every stage that would have me, that XR is not the future. XR is the present. And yes, we can say that XR is going mainstream. The wait is over. The tech is good enough, the tools are mature, and AI removed a lot of the friction. It's making it a lot easier to get it into it and build. So that was tip number one. Tip number two is that it's ready, and you have to start right now. Like we showed before, there's so many hackathons out there, and thousands of developers, designers, product managers, just people with great ideas that are building content right now. This is the perfect time to start. So the question is, okay, tech is there, I want to do it, I'm thinking spatial, what do I build? And the answer is, again, really simple. Build what you've lived. Create an experience that is based on something that you have mastered. Because when you look at the great builders, they're not necessarily XR experts and not necessarily technical. They've mastered a domain or a use case or a passion. And they know their audience so well that when they create experiences, they're irresistible to their users. And the thing is that, you would think many, the investors, the platforms, they decide who gets funded. And that could be kind of a blocker. But when you look at master builders, they're actually shifting the balance. Because again, they know their users so well that they're pulling, once they show the success, they're pulling in the platforms, then investors, and they follow the success. So the simple answer is build what you've lived, and it will pay off. And here are some examples that I want to give you of successful builders. Here's a story of David Lutz. He is a remote control airplane enthusiast. He created a VR training sim. You think it's niche, but he got 50,000 downloads in a matter of weeks. His users love it so much that they buy the Quest headset just to try this sim. So that's kind of what I mean by builders shifting the balance. Next we have Tetsuya Nonomura. He loves bungee jumping. You know where this is going. He built Bungee Jump VR to help people conquer their fear. And over 100,000 people tried it, including AWE last year. Has anyone here tried it? We have some people. Can you tell me how it felt? You usually hear the scream when somebody does it. It's pretty amazing. Here's a third builder, a really mega successful builder, Ryan Engel. He's a big golfer. So he created Golf Plus, which is a realistic VR game, not for gamers, but for golfers. And he's so successful that more rounds are played in Golf Plus every single day than real golf courses see in an entire year. And again, his players buy the Meta Quest just to play more golf. Before they go on a golf trip, they practice in the app, in the game, and then they go to the real one because it's so real, such a great simulation. And so, by the way, the three builders I've shown here are all VR, but like I said before, it's changing. Now we're going to start seeing a lot of that transitioning to glasses. All right, number 4, use the vibe. I don't know why, but that's how I like to call it. But it's really, like I said before, it's a big revolution happening. Because, Gen AI was really great, and it helped a lot in making, kind of creating objects, characters, and worlds a lot easier. But with vibe coding, and this is, from Google, kind of the latest videos, all you have to do is understand what's the prompt that you want to write, and then the coding agent will build it up there. And on the bottom, you see some of the platform players kind of rushing to build native tools. And that's completely changing the game. We'll hear more about it from Terry, which will deep dive into that. So yeah, there's a big love story here between XR and AI. But what's really cool is that in spatial computing, the human still has an edge. Because when you build an XR experience that you know inside out, you rely on a feeling. It's something that AI doesn't have. So AI will never be able to build it like you guys can. And it's another reason to be proud of being in spatial computing. It's kind of doubling down on what makes us human. But what most people out there still don't get, I'm sure you guys get it, is that also AI needs XR. And that brings us to the next tip: give AI street smarts. How do you make AI better? You teach it about the real world. And XR gives AI exactly that. It gives it senses. And probably the biggest tectonic shift that is happening this year is the evolution of AI from language models to word models. Matt Meisnix is going to talk more about this. But the thing is that today, most of the attention is going to how this is going to serve robotics, which is cool, of course. But for me, it's a lot more interesting how it's going to serve spatial AI or humans, because now you can use all this collective super intelligence to help people achieve things that they cannot achieve otherwise. It's kind of delivering on the vision of AR from decades. And the thing is that builders are not waiting for this. They're already going to hackathons. We already have here a couple of folks that went to the XR Bootcamp or Sensei, where they used word models to build worlds. But it can go a lot farther than just building worlds. It's a game changer. So tip number 5 is give AI some street smarts. Tip number 6 is don't chase the spectrum. And that is, of course, the XR spectrum, from reality to virtuality. Our industry is obsessed with this all-day face device. And it's a great long-term vision. But I think right now we're at the stage where people wear for a purpose. You want to play a game, you're probably going to use some VR headsets. You want to do some exercise, maybe use a mixed reality headset. If you're on the go in the street, you want to get some translations in a foreign country, you're going to use glasses, right? So different devices, different form factors are good for different kind of experiences. And this is kind of a chart that shows some of the different types of devices, what they offer. And I think that the point I'm trying to make is that don't chase the latest shiny object. It really depends on what experience you want to build. So if you go back to the previous tips around something that you've lived, that you've experienced, if it's something that is best used on a VR headset or a mixed reality headset, then forget about smart glasses for a minute. Focus on these spectrum, and so the experience will lead you to the right device, the right point on the spectrum. All right, point number 7. That may be a surprise to some of you, but I'm 100% behind it. Bootstrap forever, or at least as long as you can. The reason is that funding is not your savior. Fundraising is a huge distraction, especially early. And most investors will mess up things for you. And I'm saying that as someone that has made some investments. Most success stories did not start with an investment. They started with bootstrapping. And I think the more you hear about those, the more you'll get confidence. And again, this is kind of why this workshop and the program are all about. All right, tip number 8, own your pitch. So this is also simple. If you build something that you've lived, you own your pitch. You're part of the story, and that makes it a lot easier to tell you to pitch and to convince the people around you that you're the best one to do what you're doing. The perfect pitch. You can find this on any website, on any AI. You have these kind of slides. That's great. You don't need probably more than 10 slides, and you'll hear more about it from Rita here. So I'm going to skip it for now. And we're here at tip number 9, which is work the ecosystem. XR going mainstream, but the ecosystem is still emerging. And there will continue to be some headwinds and some surprises. You don't want to go it alone. So it's about working the ecosystem. Always seek partnerships. with platforms, with complementary products, and of course, service providers to create a whole product. That's common knowledge. I mean, everybody knows that, but I think you can take it even further and look for ways to collaborate with your competition. Co-opetition is a great way for success. And like Alec Baldwin said in the movie Glengarry Glen Cross, always be networking. That's our take on that. All right, tip number 10. We're at tip number 10 finally. If you're still with me, you're made of the right stuff for XR, because the road will be bumpy, and you want to plan for the long game. It's going to be totally worth it. I think people that have been at it for many years, for decades, can attest for that. And it will also reward responsibility. So if you build ethics and safety and privacy into your product and your business model, it will pay off in the long run. So these were the 10 tips. The epilogue is that we're here at AWE, and as you've probably seen, the theme is iSpatial, humans empowered by spatial AI. And our job, our duty, our mission is to convert all the skeptics out there until everyone on this planet can say iSpatial. Because when we do that, we can restore human agency in this AI-driven world. That's it. That's the theme for the year. Thank you very much.